Hello everyone, my name is Emily Chiles Startz and I'm the owner of the Woodlands Art Gallery Studios in the Woodlands, Texas. And I have with me today Jay Stone, who will be doing our next show called, say it? I think it's called Visions of Abstractions with Jay Stone.
Yes.
Is that right?
That is.
Okay.
That's correct.
So anyway, we welcome you into the studio. He's brought
Thank
an
you.
example of one of his pieces that we'll be showing. And so I welcome you to learn more about Jay. So Jay, again, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And why don't we start off with just telling our viewers who you are and a little bit about your background.
I'm just a guy who began painting a few years ago and have fallen in love with it. I've just developed a real passion for it. I was born down south, spent my whole life along basically the Gulf Coast till we lit in Houston when I was probably 12 years old. Came from a pretty middle-class background. Was athletic, a poor student. Felt like school was there for my entertainment, not for me to actually learn anything. That took a while to unlearn. Started I guess a career back in the late 80s doing environmental consulting work and industrial hygiene work, which I've continued. Had a few took another fork parts of my career. I went overseas and worked in the Middle East, worked in a war zone for a few years, looking for adventure. Found it. Don't need any more. And now I lead sort of a sedate life and just enjoy life with my wife and my dog and my cat.
So what made you pick up a paintbrush and start doing this wonderful creation?
I was, my father developed dementia, and we were coming to terms with what that meant. And I wasn't doing very well with it because my father and I had been best friends my whole life, and things started changing it was really affecting our relationship. He became suspicious of me when, you know, we played tennis together, we rode motorcycles together, we were best buddies, and I was really having some problems with this, and I think at that same time I was watching a YouTube video, and I watched someone paint, and I remembered how much I enjoyed abstract art, and I thought, I should try this. And I showed my wife. I said, look, I think I could do this. And my wife said, I think you should, because she was probably thinking I was going to go nuts unless I found some sort of a diversion from the emotional stuff that we were going through with my dad. So I went out and bought a paintbrush and some, you know, like 4 paint colors and a sketchbook, and I started just smearing paint, trying to see what it would look like. And the first thing that I did, I looked at it and said, oh, that's horrible, and just tore it off and threw it away. And I did that probably 15 times before I said, oh, well, this looks kind of cool. I think I like this. And a few more times I showed my wife, and my wife says, oh, I really like that. I'm like, ah, that's cool. So I just painted in the book until I ran out of paper, and then it was time to go get another pad. And I thought to myself, well, maybe I should get a canvas. But to me it seemed so presumptuous that I would think that I had some sort of ability that I could, you know, use a canvas to paint on like an artist. And but I thought, well, I'm going to go look. And I went to, I think it was Michael's, and they sold a pack of 20 for like 40 bucks. And I thought, well, there's nothing special about these. So I brought them home and began painting, and found that, you know, I learned that if you don't like it, paint over it. And so I just would paint until I liked it. And then I would stop and show my wife and say, what do you think? Yeah, no, I don't like it. It's too dark. You know?
Spouses are often a very good audience.
Yeah, they are. They are. But that's really how I started. Is I needed something to do because I was an emotional wreck because of what was going on with my dad, and it has been really wonderful.
So the obvious question is, if you could go back in time, knowing what you know now, would you go study art in school?
No, I wouldn't. And I've thought about that a lot, because once I realized that, hey, I'm not terrible at this.
Mm-hmm.
I think you know, what I'm looking at I like, and you know, what does it take to be an artist? And so I did a study of this. I'm trying to figure out, what, you know, how does a person make a living painting? What does that look like? You know, who considers you a painter first? You know, and I started seeing that a lot of artists went to art school and they got their Masters of Fine Art, and it's almost like a box check that a lot of galleries must look for, or at least artists are you know, telling people about. But then I found that there are some unschooled, self-taught artists. And do they do okay? And how did they do it? And so a friend of mine who is he's a pretty successful artist, I mentioned to him one day when I was thinking that, you know what, I could go back to school. I could do that. And I mentioned it to him. He's like, no, what you do, they'll beat out of you in art school. That, you know, just your experimentation, and you don't know the rules, so you don't worry about following them or breaking them, and you need to have that freedom to do abstract type work. And I've heard that from several artist friends who've said, yeah, you know, I struggle with being loose when I paint, and you do it naturally. And I think, well, it's the only thing I mean, I don't know the difference, so I just do what I do. But I wouldn't do that. But what I would have changed is that I would have started painting 40 years ago, 35 years ago, because I was exposed to abstract painting and sculpture, and I looked at it and I loved it, and I thought I should try this, but it seemed like it was maybe somehow not for me, that I didn't have the background. I wasn't going to go to art school because I planned a business career, mm-hmm. which, by the way, didn't happen. I went into environmental consulting, but I wish I would have started earlier, because it's a whole life of happiness that I could have been having doing this type of thing.
But I understand that you have a whole lot of paintings that you have in your office and in storage, so you're trying to make up for lost time, it sounds like. I am.
I'm very prolific, and it's a passion for me now. I just I love having, you know, putting a new painting that I've done in front of somebody and seeing their reaction.
Well, we're doing a show in just a couple of weeks for you, and it's going to be very colorful and wonderful, because I've seen your work, at least those that were on the walls of her office. Can you tell about what you might have in mind after the show's over, and what kind of, are you experimenting with any new techniques?
Well, there's a couple of paintings that I've done that are geometric kind of in basis, and I really want to explore that. I want to do more of that, and I know there's at least 4 more of those that I want to do that are just, kind of Kandinsky-like, just shapes and colors, but more uniform instead of complete abstract, but more geometric in nature. So
I remember seeing a few of those.
yeah, they wouldn't really flow with this, so I'm gonna develop some more of those and see what happens with that.
Well, great. Well, Jay, I can't tell you how much I appreciated you coming in and sharing your artwork with us. And I'm real excited about the opening that's going to be May the 16th. And so, again, I'm Emily Chiles Startz with the Woodlands Art Gallery and Studios. And thanks again for watching us.
Thank you.